Skip Bayless, who is a former Dallas Cowboys writer and columnist and has always been very scrutinizing of the Cowboys, said that Dak Prescott should not have admitted this because it shows poor leadership. I think this is way more serious than simply just throwing grenades at Skip Bayless. Look, Skip says a lot of things that make a lot of people angry. He has done this for a long time. His refusal to give LeBron James credit has now become kind of comedy. It's kind of sports comedy. A lot of his takes kind of border on the insane. He makes a lot of money doing it. But this is less about Skip Bayless and bad takes and more about what is responsible for all of us and how we take care of one another. This is about a lot more than a sports take. Since the pandemic hit, many of us have gone through very difficult mental moments. If you are a parent through this, a parent of multiple children through this, you might be homeschooling them and be completely overwhelmed trying to be a full-time teacher. Oh, and by the way, holding down a full-time job. You might have complete mental anguish over your children, especially if they're really young, of contracting the coronavirus. You could have elderly parents. You could be elderly yourself. You could be immune compromised and just be absolutely terrified that a pandemic that has claimed hundreds of thousands of lives would come for you or your loved one or somebody you lived with. You could be suffering simply from isolation. That quarantine, when you're supposed to stay away from your neighbor, means that you're just no longer in contact with human beings, and we need contact with human beings. Things that you love could be taken away from you. Attending sporting events, something that I absolutely love, has been taken away from me for the moment. Movie theaters, concerts, going to restaurants, going out to eat. These are all things, going to a bar, that press on people's mental wellness every day. Layoffs, the economy, furloughs, job loss, things that are really pressing on people, paying bills, paying mortgages. Now you add this to one of the most politically divisive times ever. You add to this eruption of social causes that people have recognized, hey, there needs to be movement here because there hasn't been enough movement for a long time. You combine this with social media that can oftentimes drag you right into the sewer of arguing and negativity and everybody just flaming one another. And now you add on to this Dak Prescott admitting, my brother passed away and I couldn't handle that. And imagine your sibling passing away when you are only in your 20s or early 30s. That is way too young to be losing one of your siblings. This is not about Skip Bayless always having bad sports takes. This is about responsibility to one another. And it is completely, wholly irresponsible. It is unethical to call out one of our people, one of our fellow citizens, one of our fellow Americans and say, you did it wrong because you admitted it. You're less than because you admitted that you had a difficult day or difficult weeks or difficult months or difficult years. That is completely unethical. It is completely amoral. It is completely not who we are as human beings. We are at our heart compassionate, sympathetic, empathetic figures. We have just been taught not to be towards some people and for some stupid reasons. But at our heart, we do come together when we know we have to come together. And to simply do this for this is so wrong on so many levels, especially when you have the platform that Skip has. His bosses distance themselves from this take, understandably so. People have come after him with the torches and pitchforks, understandably so. But this is not about firing or cancel culture Skip Bayless. This is about recognizing that attitude is destructive, it's amoral, And it only leads to more isolation and depression and suicidal tendencies and people being in bad places. This year has put a lot of people in a lot of bad places mentally. To tell them, don't admit it, don't talk about it, you're weak if you are that way, is a problem. Don't follow that road. I know most of you won't. But remember that through all of this, this is what we are all going through, what we go through. Not you, not that guy, not that person, not pointing the finger saying they did it wrong. That's the very crux of what ails us as a country, is picking out the other person, pointing the finger and saying, you are wrong. And doing that with mental health is the worst way to do it.